guys, it's Tom. So the 87th Academy Awards were on about a week ago, and this year I was able to see all 8 movies nominated for Best Picture. All 8 of these films were so extraordinary and deserved a Best Picture nomination. So I'm here to tell you what is so great about each of these films and why each one should be seen if you get the chance. And yes, I will try to keep these videos as spoiler-free as possible. Let's start things off with the movie that did take home Best Picture, Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Birdman is described as a dark comedy starring Michael Keaton, Edward Norton, and Emma Stone, who all received nominations for their performances, alongside Zack Galifianakis, Andrea Riseborough, Amy Ryan, and Naomi Watts. Birdman tells the story of a washed-up actor, Regan Thompson, played by Michael Keaton, who was once famous for playing an iconic superhero on screen, Birdman, kind of like how Michael Keaton himself used to be famous for playing another superhero, Batman. This iconic role for Regan has taken over his life, and so now many years later, we find Regan trying to establish himself as a true actor and a true artist by writing, directing, and starring in his own Broadway play. But the thing with fame from the past is that sometimes it can come back to taunt you, and we see people literally stop him in the streets for autographs and photos with Birdman. And if you're not careful, fame can even take over you, and sometimes we see Regan wondering if slipping back into Birdman would just make his life and career easier for him. So not only do we see Regan try to keep all the cast and crew together for the opening night of his Broadway show, but also struggle to keep himself and his ego together. Plus, it doesn't help that throughout the film, Regan is trying to please a local critic and get a good review out of her, and that he's also got a bratty daughter, Sam, played by Emma Stone, and they both keep reminding him that he is not doing all of this for the sake of art. He is doing this to stay relevant. One of the many things that I liked about this movie is that in some instances, it feels like the characters were written for these actors. We haven't really seen Michael Keaton in this kind of role in a long time. Something so striking, probably since Batman and Batman Returns. His name is all over this movie, and for a good reason. It's been a while since he's really starred in anything, and when his name has come up in the last few years, it's mostly been from comedy. You look at Toy Story 3, 30 Rock, The Other Guys. So we almost didn't expect this kind of acting now from Michael Keaton, which reflects his character, Regan, who is in the public eye as a one-genre actor. Hopefully this makes sense to you, because as you can probably tell, I'm having difficulty saying words right. Another character worth mentioning is Mike, played by Edward Norton. Mike is brought in when Regan needs a replacement actor for his play and he needs it fast. Mike comes in off the streets and just delivers, which to some extent kind of angers Regan, since this big hotshot actor can just wander in and give this dynamic performance, which is something that Regan has had to work for. So needless to say, Mike and Regan don't really get along for a majority of the film, but this kind of reflects Norton as an actor, who has a reputation for being very abrasive and very difficult to work with. So I guess, in a way, both Norton and Keaton are playing reflections, or even if you want to go as far as to say parodies of themselves. A personal favorite character of mine is Jake, Regan's co-producer, played by Zack Galifianakis. Now before you start yelling at your computer screens as to why Galifianakis should even be worth mentioning in this video, let alone be in the same movie with such big names as Keaton and Norton, just hear me out. We all know Zack Galifianakis from comedy movies like The Hangover Trio and Due Date, someone who is a lovable goof. But in this movie, he is anything but a goof. Yes, he may drop a few comedic lines here and there, but it's not because he wants you to laugh at him as a character. He wants you to laugh at the story. Because if you've ever worked in theater, whether it be on or off stage, things can get pretty hectic, and Jake makes some comments that doesn't make anyone on screen laugh, but it makes you laugh because you can relate to what's going on. Also, I love whenever an actor or actress can break out of their comfort zone and bring life into a new character in a totally different way, and makes me forget that I am watching someone like Zack Galifianakis, the goofball. He did a very fine job. I know people aren't giving him the praise he deserves, so I'm doing it here. Also, it's worth pointing out that according to Keaton and Norton, Galifianakis made the fewest mistakes of all the actors. So, there you go. I haven't even begun to talk about how this movie is made. The director, Alejandro González Iñárritu, has a great eye. Since the movie follows all of these characters as they scramble to put on this show and try to live normal lives, we see the movie as one continuous camera shot, sometimes following Regan, then breaking away to focus on Mike, then back to Regan, then to Sam, and so on and so on. There are so many twists and turns regarding the camera work that you feel like you're rushing around, checking in on everyone, and trying to keep everything together. It's incredible to see it this way, because as someone who has worked in the theater before, there are 1,000 other people in the same area trying to keep things together in their own way, and each person has a different side of the story. There are so many great scenes and moments in this movie that I simply can't list them here, mainly because I don't want to give anything away, but I think it goes without saying that if you get the chance to see Birdman, definitely check it out. I would highly recommend that if you are a thespian, you know, someone involved with theater, then you should definitely check this movie out. From the opening shot of the film, you are strapped into your seat and you literally experience this 2-hour ride thanks to the moving cameras. Yes, it's dark a few times, and yes, it's lighthearted a few times, but hey, that's life, and that's certainly the life of a thespian, full of rocky roads and smooth sailing. So that's it for this video, guys. What did you think of Birdman? Leave your answers in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next installment of the 2015 Oscar Best Picture nominees. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Maruzia.